Hello, hello, good morning. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Let me know. We started a little bit late today. Had some birthday engagement that I had to take care of. So, hopefully, everybody's there. This podcast is probably designed for you guys to talk about, building and whether you should build with the possibility or the option of rental. So let me know if anybody there can hear me, and the feedback is always great. To factor that in as you build. Okay. Um, okay. All right. So let me know how's the sound. Okay, and then we'll take it from there. So one of the things that some people do think about is they are going to be investing money into the house. Mike is good. Thank you. Hajia, thank you for the feedback. They are going to invest money into the dream home or the house, and maybe they'll be going back and forth from their respective countries. Uh, and then they want to see if there's a way that one house can do both, right? So that one house can be a residence and also um, rental opportunity. So it can be done. It can be done. I've seen a couple of times, and then you have some people that are very adamant. They don't want anybody living at their house or staying in their house, and so you have that aspect. But I think that is something you should factor in as before you build. So then you factor that into the layout and the blueprint, and to see how you can make those provisions. So if you decide to rent the whole house, part of the house, for that option, then you're not putting a lot of money into renovation. Okay, so I've seen people. So there's a couple of ways people do it. So they live in a house, and then when they're not, they rent a whole house. That becomes a little bit tricky, especially if you have like a master bedroom and you have your personal items in there. And it's very tricky to rent it out for somebody to occupy that. So maybe sometimes they will block that room and then rent most of the house. So that's one aspect. I've seen people what they do, they build maybe two stories, or maybe an adjacent building for the rental income, and then they stay on the other side. I've seen some people do the bungalow style, but do maybe multiple rooms and then rent partially some of that for rental, to generate income. And so there's a couple of things though. I know some people now. The question is, what if Tony, I've built my house, it was it's a dream home, and then I want to maybe utilize some of the space because it's too much of a house for rentability. What should I do? Okay. Please check in. Let me know who's here. I know Hajia is here. I know there's more eyeballs. Then you guys check in. Let me know. Are we talking about today about building your first home and then figuring out whether you should factor in the rental aspect, um, um, and stuff like that. Um, and so anyway, so I'll share a little bit with me. What I'm trying to do with the Kaswa house as well. The Kaswa house, when I started, I thought about it. So someday it's going to be a rental place as well. So it's a 2 unit kind of like thing. Everything that is downstairs is also on the second level. The only thing that they have to share is the laundry, which the person upstairs can access through the back of the house, and then the garage, which they can share. But pretty much everything downstairs, number of rooms, the kitchen, powder room, is just same upstairs. Okay, so that make it easier for me down the road to either make it a two separate unit or just rent, one, the upstairs, and downstairs have the caretakers to stay in there. And then whenever I visit that part of town, I have at least two bedrooms to stay. Right. So that is one thing you have to factor in. So um, So when you building, you're looking at the layout. I would say make all the provisions. So do your foundation once, do all your foundation once, and then maybe down the road, if you decide to rent part of the house, maybe the only modification you would do, if it's a bungalow, maybe just put an external entrance from the other side to that section of the house, right? Or now, if it's a story building, build it in a way that you can create an external staircase to the second level, and then a way that there's a door that connects the first floor to the ground floor, or in the US we say second floor to the first floor. And then that you can just secure it so the people upstairs can have access downstairs, vice versa. So all these things is very, very important because not everybody can build two, three, four homes, five homes. And so sometimes, you build this mega mansion and it's just you, and eventually the kids don't even want to come or whatever. And there's like two to three people in a six, 7 bedroom house, right? Maintenance costs and all those things start factoring in, and stuff like that. So build something. Um, so let me know if you have questions. You can throw in the email. Thank you for joining. I hope everything is good on your end. Um, so you must said, I made my project like that. Amazing insight into the future. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's becoming more relevant now to be able to factor that in, because when you go down there and you can make the renter, you can make some rental income. But I also think too, you have to, the rental income, how you structure it is very, very important, right? I don't believe it's a good idea to do the 2 years and to give renters long duration on the lease. It's never a good idea for you, the renter, because you lock yourself in for that period. And let's say if they are misbehaving, or maybe another potential renter comes in that's willing to pay more money because they like the house and that location, you are locked in for a year or two, and that kind of stuff. So I think, do it. If I do it, I'll do 3 months to 6 months max 6 months. After that will be renewed. But I think I'll probably go for 3 months increment so I can renew, and then if the tenant is misbehaving, I can just send them packing. I don't want to be locking a 2 year deal kind of stuff. And also, when the tenant is almost doing month to month or shorter duration, they make sure that they behave and take care of the house, and that kind of stuff. Instead of when they locked into a 2 year thing, they feel like whatever happens, they have 2 years, and stuff like that. My considering how to source tenants of your kind. Yes, so that's a couple of things. So and I've talked to people who are renting, who have homes that they are renting, and they will tell you, some renters can be problematic, especially if the owner does not live on the premises or lives far away or adjacent to the premises, and stuff like that. It can be people. Some people have a habit of trying to destroy things or don't take care of things if it doesn't belong to them. There are people like that. So now, there's a difference. This is not an approach of you are building a rental apartment somewhere and you are renting all the units. That's a different thing. I'm talking about this is like your residential home that you are renting partial, or maybe on the same compound as a secondary building for the rental component. So this is just much more narrowed. And in that aspect, I think as when you have the eyes on the ground, it makes you see certain things that maybe um, if the tenant is violating certain things, you can see right away, and then they have that discussion, right? If you are across town, and you don't even come there, maybe you come in there once a month to see if everything is going on. By the time you get there, the damage has been done, and that kind of stuff. So I'm an advocate for writing your own contract with terms and conditions and violations, and then the consequences to those violations for the rental agreement. Make it simple, one page, simple and sweet, and say, listen, these are not allowed. Um, First time you get a verbal warning, second time there will be termination. So make sure you get 2 months of deposits in there. So utilize some of the things you've learned outside, because when you do have deposit, that'll go towards, like for example, if somebody's renting the Kasua house, the upstairs, whatever, obviously there's wear and tear. But if I go there and the fridge, the handle of the fridge is on the floor, the countertop is all burnt out, destroyed, the cabinets, stuff all over the stuff, that is not wear and tear. That is just abuse and neglect and that kind of stuff. And so there's other things. If the furniture over time gets worn out, okay, that is wear and tear. But if there's knife cuts and blade cuts into the furniture, that is not wear and tear. So it is very, very important you do that. And so to Emmanuel, that is when even if you don't get the right tenant in the beginning, if the if the lease is very short, in that process you can still be looking for another tenant to be replacing the other one, because you know their time is up. But if you lock yourself in um a year and 2 years, then you kind of like have to deal with that. And sometimes some tenant may come and everything looks good until they moved in after 2 months and a whole different thing comes up, right? But if I give you 3 months and then you come after 3 months, we have the discussion to renew, uh then it gives you the leverage. You want to have all the leverage, and kind of stuff. But don't assume people know how to take care of their property. There are some people, they can be really filthy, and they'll come there and then they'll be doing all kinds of stuff. So um, you should really keep an eye on things and have that discussion. Okay. So that is very, 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 very important, because at a certain point, you are not going to be this vibrant and be making all the money and be able to have all the energy unless you set something up that is residual by itself, and is making money without your active participation or so. Then most of us will say, have have multiple streams of income. I'm of the mindset. So this is how I do it. Um, Anything about $400,000 a year, you don't need a secondary income if you're financially responsible. You don't need to. Anything about $400,000 a year, you don't need secondary income. Anything less than that, I think you have to be versatile, and be creative in generating that income. More is better, and then also be responsible, because you don't know when you will need to come out with some large sums of money, right? And and that kinds of stuff. So it's very important. So I just said, I don't ever want to live with a tenant in the same house. Yes. So there are people that are really, really adamant in that. And so what people do is, like, I've seen this sometimes. The hard plot is split it into a plot and a half, and then the tenant is on the other side. They have their own small compound, and that kind of stuff, but they are not sharing the building, and they're not sharing the compound aspect. But so it's something that you really want to think about it long term, to see if it's something that you want to incorporate. So then you can think about it now, make the provision. So when it's time for you to transition to that aspect of generating income, then it's a minimum, because the Kaswa stuff, if I want to transition, is going to cost me maybe $5,000-$6,000 than to just have a whole 3,400 square feet of space for rental. And so that is much more manageable than building, putting another 150 200,000 into a whole set of building, right? Okay. So let's see. So I think the rental laws in Ghana actually, forbid people from doing those 1 2 year lease. I think it's about 6 months or so. But usually the reason that people go for this the homeowners are charging like 1 year, 2 years, is because they need the money up front, or sometimes they need that money to continue other units, or maybe for other businesses, other ventures, and so they need that 2 year rent, to do that. But but then once you spend the money, then that's it, right? You got to wait another 2 years, and a lot of stuff happens in 2 years. So for me, um, at the end of the day, you're a tenant. Ghana has its laws, whatever that they say about things, but it is not, the property is not the state of the government, and so if you're gonna rent, I'll definitely going to have some terms and conditions for you. If you don't want it, you can move on. But I will detect a lot of things in there, and some people too. Some people when they come, they don't have the year and the 2 years to pay. Not everybody, but they could be like good tenants, but they just don't have the money up front. So that flexibility is important. It also helps you to increase the rent instead of waiting the 2 years. Can do it. Because you got to keep up with inflation. Wear and tear, and all those things happen. So there are 2 years, because sometimes what happens 2 years you want to double the rate, and it's too much for certain people to deal with. But you can do percentage, 3 to 6 months, stuff like that. Give them that flexibility. So you still have to write your contract. You always write your own contract. It's your house, and you have to determine certain things, because as far as I know, people are not supposed to be charging the year and the 2 years, and they are doing it anyway, and nobody's saying anything about that. So definitely wouldn't allow some rental laws to restrict me, um, and making sure that protecting my asset. Okay, and so it's just one of those things that we have to factor that in, because not I've seen some very, very good tenants that really, really take care of the homes. Sometimes when you go there, you think like they actually own the homes. There are some as well, but it takes a level of sophistication of finding that individual and in EB kakra, what I see, who's well cultured, and maybe understands certain things, that hey, I need to, just because I'm not the owner doesn't mean I should just destroy and abuse things. All right. So look at that. So what is it? If I was writing a rental agreement, it's going to be the terms and conditions. It's going to be what the deposit is going to go towards to. It's going to be a flat rate of increases with a renewal. If it's 10%, it's 10% with an option um, to change. There'll be do's and that. There'll be do's and that over there. Um, so if obviously you're not gonna be throwing parties now, definitely is gonna be on that. You can do your kid's birthday party, but you are not going to convert a house to funeral ceremonies, that kinds of stuff like event centers. No, you're not gonna use that property for that. That is going to go into the lease, and then the violations and the consequences, all that must be, because some people don't know, they rent your place, and next thing you know, there's all kinds of stuff happening over there. Okay, so you gotta streamline it. I don't think there's a rent cap in Ghana. No, I don't think so. I don't think either this is ineffective. I don't think so. Is the market and greed is going to decide that, unfortunately. And so, but I know that the rent has gone crazy. The last year is gone ridiculous. So people are being pushed out from Greater Accra to Asket. It has gone, for what they are charging for what you get. It's not there. And so the rent, and I can see it coming up, because hey, it's kind of how the land thing is going. Rent is is beginning to, to do that as well. So I think make fair, you're not, you're renting hopefully to make some money. So do your calculation right. Know exactly how much it's going to take, monthly, what is included in the rental, right? Let them pay for a bunch of stuff, um, and stuff like that, like so the power, because when they're paying for stuff, they tend to like take care of it. They tend not to abuse it, right? If they're paying for power, then they're not going to be running the AC 24/7. Okay. Obviously, if the AC breaks down, is non-function, okay, the owner has to, repair those things. The fan is not working, that kind of stuff. Generator is out, that kind of stuff. That's on the owner. So factor all those costs in there and charge appropriately, and put some percentage of the money away for repairs. Okay, so that the house is always in a great condition. Background checks on tenants maybe before renting. Yeah, I mean if you can do it, is very, very important. Maybe you may have to do a lot of word of mouth, and because I don't even know if you get police report, is it all coordinated into the system? I don't know, but it's about you having discernment, the ability to extract more information when people are giving you little, and then so you need to be asking a bunch of questions, find out what they do, um, because I do care who's renting the place. It's not because they can pay. I want to see what job you got yourself involved in, right? And that kinds of stuff. So have something. The next thing you know, somebody's using your establishment for some kind of criminal activity, and that kind of stuff. So you don't want that. So you want to do your homework, and that's what I'm saying. The short lease is better, because if something comes up, they gotta go. They really gotta go. And so, because all is well until people start showing certain characters, right? So if I give you a 3 month, 4 month, 5 month lease, you know, and it's not working, it's only a matter of time that you gotta go. I don't want to give you I don't want to put out with you for a year or 2 years, right? Regardless of and it's not always about the money per se. It's also about making sure that the renting experience does not become so stressful, for you as well. So yeah, so do the background check, figure out where they work, talk to some people, and then and then just give them the rental agreement, what you want, what they can do, what they can't do, the terms, and all that stuff. So they know. So there's no disagreement. So if they sign anything, they understand. You don't want, and then get a deposit, get 2 months deposits. Okay, get 2 months deposit. So if anything, they run away and stuff like that, you got those the 2 months to buy some of those things. So what is it? Some places, some will say 2 months, 3 months, whatever. I think you put in a contract. I think whatever you do, it should be in writing, no verbal nonsense, because then becomes, you can have oral contract, but it's a business transaction, so have the paperwork. So you give them 3 month notice. They signed and returned to you, and then you give them another year, another month notice that at the end of the month you want the premises, vacated, and after thorough inspections, you returned their deposit in full, partial, or any damages that was outside the normal use and tear will be applied to. So it's just state and clear, and they will get that within 3 weeks or something like that. So just have it transparent, for them. So and they, if they have to leave, also to, when should they give you notice? Written notice. It can't be any verbal thing. It has to be written notice. Maybe it's a month they should give you a notice. Is it 2 months? Whatever, you figure something out. And I think just make it clear. Don't put any legal jargon that they can't understand or anything like that. I think just make it clear if they are semi-illiterate or whatever. Get somebody over there to explain it to them, and you know, and that kinds of stuff. Have them sign the tenant agreement with also some witnesses involved. Just cover all your dots because when something happens, all those things becomes very, very important, and stuff like that. So don't leave space for anybody to sneak out and say, oh, because of procedure issue, and stuff like that. So just get something going simple, 1 2 pages, that's it. And then have a copy, scan one, keep it on your Google Files, and have a backup. If anything, you can pull it up ASAP and say, this is what we talked about. Okay. And so I think if you want to repossess, and I think a few months written, and you written to them is good. Um, I think if you are doing like a year, I think maybe 3 months. You give them 3 month notice. Say, hey, in 3 months, I think 3 months can be ideal for them to find a place. Okay, and stuff like that. So give them a couple. But for me, if I'm doing 3 months, so listen, after the 3 month, we're gonna evaluate extension. But there's certain violations. If you are breaking all these things, you are not gonna reach the 3 months. So put it there, let them know, because it's your property. You don't want anybody coming in and destroying the place, and you know, you know, all kinds of stuff. Okay, so be fair, but keep it all business. All right. So I hope this thing makes sense for you, stuff like that. So write your contract as it makes sense to you. Okay, as it makes sense to you. Um, in the US, there's not like a uniformity of contracts. States are different. Property owner, complexes are different. They have certain things. There'll be certain things there in terms of how you move them out. There might be some period, but in terms of what they can do, what they cannot do in the premises, every rental company has its own set of things, right? And so write it over there, and stuff like that. So yeah, even how they'll be paying you, the frequency of the payment, if it's monthly, if the day of the payment, if they exceed by X number of days, the penalties, put everything in. Finishing. Do we consult on finishing the course? We do, and also I have interior designer that can help come in there and give you the insights, and they also have some deals with certain furniture companies in Ghana because of the business, and so maybe sometimes they can even help you, if you use her, help you, maybe get some little bit discounts on the furnitures and stuff like that. So we do consultation on finishing decor, exterior and interior. I'm an advocate of just because it comes down to the finishing, right? So finishing is basically um so nobody, I don't care who the person is, nobody building a house from ground, nobody can be a master of everything. You just can't. uh Even that's what companies have, segmental responsibilities. There's engineers, there's the builders, there's the architects, there's the landscapers, there's all kinds of people that come in there, because you need all the skills to come in and execute. And I think sometimes we're trying to do everything, and sometimes two good things when paired together doesn't work well, and stuff like that. And so sometimes you need that insight to say, okay, what is it that you want? If you want the house to be inviting, you want the house to be entertaining, if you want, all this stuff. So that goes from furniture placement to color schemes, to design. All those things are important because energy is in things. All right. Before you walk into the room, you feel it before you go into the room, and so you want certain kind of energy to be for the person to experience the moment they come over there, and it has to be a good energy. And so all those things matters. We tend to our people tend to over furniturize a place, and the space determines what goes in there, not because you want this couch and it's so elegant, but it's too big for the space. And if you force it in there, it's not going to look right. So it's the space that's going to determine what you should do and what you can do if you want to maximize all these things. So yes, we do, right? And that will be so you can reach us at, if you for the consultation, you can visit our website. Um, visit our website here, royalconsultingsolutions.com. Check out the service or email me and we can take it over there. So for me, I am the mindset for me is like life is a beautiful thing, and if you gotta live it one time, go for it. And so I am methodical. When I'm doing something, I want it to be the best, not the best in Ghana or the best in Africa. I want it to be the best in the world. And so I will go to places and look at designs to get inspiration and trying to, recreate recreate that. And so, because that is what I think I deserve. And so that is the mindset. Average is not good for me. 80% is not good for me. For me, I want it all. And so I will use. And so that means I'll go find the people that know more, that have that experience in that area. And if I have to pay them, I'll pay them to come and execute. If we can come up with some exchange of work between us, then we come up with some kind of agreement because it matters. It matters to me. It's all top notch, excellent. So don't underestimate that. And finishing is very, very important. Finishing is that is what it is. I've seen, and maybe you guys have seen this. There's nice homes, but the finishing was inadequate because people will drive around, they see somebody's house, they say, I want this. And then they'll go to another house, they want this. And they throw everything together and it doesn't really work well together. It's like wearing all your favorite clothes at once, right? And so there's a balance. You have to know how your eyes perceive things and connect it to your brain. And so there's a balance of things. Your eyes is always trying to equilibrium things. And so you have to balance that. So when you see people like, that's unique. I never even thought this sort of two colors can go together. Okay. So other than that, win big, be smart, plan for the future, enjoy, live your dream, stay focused, stay hungry, stay determined, stay focused. 2022 is going to be a lot of distraction. Stay focused. And I'll share this with you guys. I'll share this thing with you guys. Those of you who always wanted to build or wanted to continue the project, right? So I'm gonna share this with you. Um, the difference, the difference, this is the difference. The difference between people who you see make progress on their projects, okay? Um, and the difference between people who entertain that in their head, that okay, I'm gonna do and stuff like that is that until you write a go down and I say go get a quote. If you're not getting a quote, okay, you are not gonna be able to move forward because you have no idea what is the next step. You have no idea how much I need to even save, right? So the whole thing is in your head and it's gonna stay there year after year. So you get a quote at a certain point. Say, listen, and when I was building castle, I used to get quotes sometimes 2 years advance. I know, yeah, is inflation, everything's gonna change. But at least when I was doing my ground, the moment I did my block work, I was getting my roofing, I was getting all kinds of stuff, even though I was going to do like a year later and that kinds of stuff. You really, really have to do that. Other than that, you are not going to move. You are going to be paralyzed. So you get code. I am, with this project, I'm even getting code. In a couple of months, I'm getting code for Windows. I'm not even there yet. So at least I can see, okay, if I need to come up with this money, I know it's the back of my mind. And so get the quote. Once you get a quote and you say, okay, I need to come up with 5,000, I need to come up with 6,000. Then you set a goal. How much can I, put aside? Then you can see you will make forward, you make the progress. If you don't get quote, there's no progress. There's no progress. It's impossible because you can't plan for something that you don't really know what it's going to take, right? So that is the secret. The secret, I listen, don't say I need to make up the money, then I'm gonna do this thing. It's not going to, it never works that way because when you make up the money, all kinds of stuff will come in. So money to me is the second thing that I looked at. The thing is, I want to do this thing. What is the cost? Is going to cost me to do it. Then I go find the cost. Then I say, okay, I need to come up with 20 grand. Okay, all right. 20 grand. I want to do this thing maybe 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. 20 grand. How much can I put away? What can I cut back? What things am I going to give away in the short term to come out with this money? And then the moment I come with this money, boom, I go to the next step. And you do that, and little by little, you are making your progress. So the quote, the magic, so the genie's out of the box now, is get the quote. If you are not getting quote, you are not going to make, you are now moving on because rarely is he gonna sit down 50, 100 grand. Some last some is gonna come to you legally, right? Rarely. It's going to be for most people, is going to be honing down and saving $100, 200, 500, 1,000, those things. That is how most people are going to be able to do it. So the secret is wherever your project is, if you don't have your foundation, go get a code for foundation. If you've done with foundation, you want to build to lintel, go get a quote, get multiple quotes, okay, for foundation. Do it. And then you have a goal. This is what I'm trying to achieve. It will help you deal with the distractions. Okay. When you hone in, when I zone in, I don't mean watch a lot of YouTube. You see, when you zone in into things that matter to you, like things that's going to help that dream. So if I'm at Windows, I'm watching a lot of Windows from all over Ecuador, Europe, Philippines. I'm getting some ideas of how I want to execute, right? And when you do that, there's a magic. There's a magic. Things happen, things that, things aligned. The money comes. The money will come but you have to align yourself. Okay. Other than that, if you don't align yourself, it's very, very difficult. So go get a quote, please. Go get a quote. Okay. We in February 2020. We're already in February. By December, I want you to have done 2 to 3 projects. Okay. That's what I would have wished for, to would have done that. So please go and get a quote. Go and get a quote, and then you can be focused and then do that. And also, listen, I always say this, I'll repeat it again. It is awesome when you can see somebody. Let's say you can see, so Tony's moving on. It is awesome. Okay. But Tony is going to move on regardless of whatever. I'm going to do what I need to do. So, because at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself and say, listen, yes, all these people are doing great, but what about me? I need to be in the game. I need to do the things that I need for myself to also enjoy the life that I deserve. So be happy for people. but be much more excited about your dream and aspirations, right? That is what it is. That is what it is. And when you are like that, money comes. Listen, money comes. I've done this a lot to tell you that before I do project, I don't care what the month is. 90.9%, I don't know how the money's going, but it always works out. Always works out. Always. Right? Because when you determine and you have a goal, say, okay, this is what I need to do, a lot of things happens. And I don't care whether it's 20,000, 50, I don't care. It always happens, right? So that would be my tip for you is go get a quote, get these quotes for your project, and at least know, yes, by the time you get the dollars, conversion rate and stuff. So save always about 20%, 20% more than the quote, it will fill in the buffer. And then go find the right team and have them execute for you. Go find the right team. Let them educate you. So every dollar, you see, I am in the game now, so I demand excellence from my guys. So and they charge me the same way. If I pay a dollar, we charge you a dollar because then I know that is what it costs, true cost, and that is fair to you. I'm not going to charge you $2, and I'm paying a dollar. Okay, we will still have money in there to deal with the contingencies or whatever that comes. And so go find people that can maximize that and get a dream accomplished. Because I'm telling you, man, uh, we don't have to live like this. You know, we don't have to live like this. So please, please, just do it. Okay, just do it. This is like, the genie out of the box. This is could be the most important thing I could tell you. Go get your code. There's magic in the code, and start from there. And little by little, you are going to be making progress. And for every progress that you make, is going to build you up to the next progress. It's going to push you forward. And it's like that's how we do it, right? You don't see me I've never done a video and I'm complaining about my project. This thing happened, all the stuff like that. Because first of all, 90.9% doesn't because of the team and also because of how vigilant I am in the process we put in place. And second of all, too, it's like I'm so focused on what I'm doing is that I don't see the other distractions that comes out. Right. So please get your code because if you don't have a code, you cannot continue the project. Right. So don't wait for the money because if you wait for the money, it's not going to come that way. So go get a code. Pay, some people we charge for a code because it's fair in Ghana. Sometimes we have to drive it around, get all these numbers, and then we give the people and then boom, we don't hear from them. So we charge for the code. Um, stuff like that. So get a code and then design and then come with a game plan how to make money. Now you can reach out, you can come to consultation. There's so many things we can tell you. Um, you know, everything is information. To be rich is information. To be poor is information. And in America, there's a way money works. You have to understand how the wealthy people move money and what they do to do these things that they do. Okay. And so these are some of the things that I use personally to to build my project. And I don't put my situation that I'm house poor because of strategies that you use. That is for consultation. Okay. That you can build and take your time and also handle all your responsibilities that you have. All right. Thank you, bro. Yeah, Steven, good. Long time. Yes, yes. You know the routines. Yes. So we can give some estimate. We can give there's a lot of estimate we can do in-house, and then the other stuff we will work with other partners, and then we take care of that. But we kind of have an idea. The thing is this: we know quality. Listen, you can't fool us because we talk to a lot of people in Ghana. You know, So we know what quality pricing is, and we know when it's not quality. So there's no cheap quality thing that is out there because, um, trust me, my data in Ghana every day is, it's a lot. So we talk, we cross check, a bunch of stuff. Okay, Salif, thank you for. I hope all is well. Uh, Christian Santi, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So my goal, listen, this is what I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create, I'm trying to create a next generation of doers, and irrespective of politics, religion, creed, and other things, we are champions. That's what I'm trying to create. So I'm pushing myself to the best, to create, because we want the next generation to see, the goal is we should do more than our fathers did and our grandparents did, because I think maybe we live in a better time than they did. You know, my father was a highly intelligent man, came from a poor home, so never got to further education beyond sixth grade. But even from that aspect, what I learned from him was much more. So I should be able. There's no excuse. I should be able to do 100 times what he did. So that's the goal. We're pushing ourselves, and then hopefully the next generation will see us and they will accomplish more. What it took us 40 years to do, they will do it in 20. And so that is what we are doing. That's what we are pushing. So we are pushing ourselves. We are not making any excuses. Obviously, we're doing it with intelligence and savviness. And so things you can't change, let it go. Things you can change, you. You can change how you're gonna live, the quality of your life, where you're gonna live, and all those things. That is what you can change. So focus on that. Okay, focus on that, and then there's other things that we talk behind the scenes and stuff. What business to get into, what not to get into, and certain discussion that is just it can't be public. We have that as well. Okay. Yeah. So so how do we deal with I call them criminals, people that take your money and they do, even if they're doing some bad stuff on the project, it's still criminal. Or they don't do, they take their money. But sometimes this is what I'm finding out. Some people are pushing themselves to be exploited and taken advantage of. Okay, they are, because there's a tendency that sometimes the code is too good to be true. Um, and those people, after they've been victimized and they come to me, I said, they would tell me, Tony, I felt something. I felt something. My intuition was like, but you still cough up the money. And so for me, in in Africa, quality pays. The people that are going to do the job for you, real for real, good authenticity, no quality and everything, they are going to charge you a little bit more, because there's a bunch of nonsense they have to deal with, right? They have to supervise theft. They have to supervise all kinds of stuff that you don't have to deal with. So those nobody can do it for quite. And I know some good, decent people that I also sometimes when we have more project, in their area, I call them, say, bro, can you handle this and stuff like that. Or even if it's land, I say, can you, this is your area, can you check this for me? And I make not even make a dollar off that, but I know they will take care of them, right? So you have that, and so you have a tendency. Listen, we've done inspection for buildings that other engineers were scared to even enter, because the person that did that should be put underneath the jail. It is just criminal what they did over there. And we would talk to the person and say, listen, this thing is going to collapse. Man, I started praying before I went to that building. And when I started praying, it's very, very serious. And so, but when you talk to them, they don't get it. And I said, it could be rectified, but it's going to take a little bit to do all these things, and stuff like that. So people in the end still go use the cheap labor. So you have that. Yours gonna get what you paid for, and so and companies can rip you off too. They do that. So it's about finding the right team, pay them what is worth, and ask for and deliver. Let them deliver, right? Let them deliver. And so to me, that is what it is. I don't want drama. Okay. I don't want drama if I don't have to. So I'll find the right team. If it's 50 CDs and I'll find somebody who can do it for 70 CDs, but then they're going to deliver, they're not going to take my money and do stuff. I'll pay 70 CDs. I will pay some. That's the way I am. I don't want, listen, no, I don't want that. And so, yes, I think they should be held accountable. But sometimes, but how can you hold them accountable? You in the US, they ain't gonna, you know, it's probably so. So if, for example, for example, let's say we're doing roofing for you, we contract the roofing, we pay the roofing guys, they take the money and run. It's not your fault. We still gonna put your we still gonna give you a roof for the quality you pay for, and we go and then we have to go deal with that. We have to go hold them accountable. But you working with somebody and they can say, oh, you took the money and run. What are you gonna do? There's nothing you could do, you know. And so it's just one of those things. Yes. I could see yourself. I hope all is well. Yeah, so business, yeah, business is good. Business is good. Uh, we do talk about some of the stuff. It's a whole different mindset. It's a whole different check and balances that you have to do to, watch the money and all kinds of stuff, and there has to be repercussions and stuff like that. And also, there's a psychological component that you have to understand the mindset, and sometimes there's some discussions you have with them that when they come, when they're working for you, there's a whole 180 degrees type of behavior, right? Then they go to some place. So there's more to that. Okay, I would say get quotes for project base. Get quote for project base, um, because sometimes this is what happens. The way we build is very very difficult to give a whole comprehensive. We've tried that before. It took us many months to give a whole comprehensive cost for grant to the entire building. So usually when you're doing that, like contract sale do, you have to put in about another 30-35% of added to that because you want to cover all kinds of contingency that comes in. Maybe you get a price is gonna go, all over the place and stuff like that. But for most people, which I think this is what I do, I can only talk about what I do, is I always do the project base, right? The project base. It's a good gauge for you to learn the process, right? Because you can say, okay, if I did this part for this amount and this part is this, the price is off. You can gauge that, right? So that's a tip I'm giving you. So it's just that I do project base. If I want foundation, I do foundation, and then but you also have to understand what is foundation. It's different for everybody. A lot of people are doing the foundation wrong, right? And so it is elevated foundation, the depth on the type of columns you are going to use. If your second story, there's a size maintenance, not just the size of iron rods, but also the size of the footings. If it's a 3-story, there's the size of footing. If it's a beam, if it's 3 meters, 5 meters, 6 meters, 10 meters, there's the size of beam that you must maintain. So that's for the engineers. They do their calculations, and that's how we build. And so we build with engineers. We have 2 engineers on site. So your foundation, our foundation, is going to be a little bit high because it's going to be done right. Okay. And so do project base. So do a project base instead of like a general overall cost. So project base, and always have a little bit buffer because prices change here and there. So get a quote, please get a quote, and if the quote come is like 5,000, save like maybe 6,000, right? Because if something comes, boom, you can keep on get a quote and then get the next quote. Okay? You don't have to wait I don't even wait till the project is done as they are working. That is why I encourage you guys to buy our building guide, because what it's going to do for you is going to have you control your project, right? It's going to have you control your project because you can look at it and stage by stage by stage, you can get on through this link. What what is the next stage? So if you're doing plumbing is 7, you know what is 8, you know what is 9. You can see the whole thing. So we've outlined everything from the land process to when you move in. And people don't even know that you have to clean the house twice before you can move. You can't move into the house. And when you're done, you need a thorough cleaning, massive thorough cleaning. I had like 5 people for the Castle house to do 2 days to clean the dust because dust is everywhere. Then after that cleaning, you're gonna put furniture. Then after the furniture, you do another cleaning before you occupy the place, right? We have all that in there. You don't want to be in there breathing dust, and that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, yeah. It's I'll never forget. It was a serious day. Listen, man, I walk. It's like I felt, man. It's like every step I took, I felt like this is the last step. When I exited that building, I was like, I'm not. Looking at my business partner, we're not doing this anymore. Um, but the other engineer was smart. He didn't even go. He said, "Psh, don't not doing it." Okay, so yeah, so it's $50, nothing on a bad date. Because now a bad date is about $150. So on a bad date, $50, you spend more than $50. So it's a good, it will help you. It will put you in a position to really, really control your project, to know what is going on, right? Because sometimes a builder in our part of the world, a lot of things, because some people can build to a certain point. They didn't have formal education. They learn on the job, but there's technical component of the job, right? There's a technical component, and so you must understand that. So you need your technical experts to come in there and deliver those things. So you having the guide, a roadmap, will actually get you informed. So if all of a sudden your bidder is saying go do number 22 and you are number 7, it's not going to work. Okay, it's really not going to work well. Okay. Yeah, so what about building outside the city, needing balls, tanks, putting in your own goddess? I'm gonna tell you guys this thing. It's funny. People land, you can always get land. Uh you see, when I look for land for uh for a specific type of project, there's a lot of things I'm looking at, which will be, can I personally build an irrigation system regards to if it's a community. So you have to think about this. You have to be really strategic, because there's some places that when you build your land, you stop. You can't do anything because you're going to be surrounded by a bunch of homes. So, tip, tip for you, free consultation on this answer. Okay, so it's not just about looking at land and say this is nice and all that stuff. No, there's a lot of things you have to think about. What are you going to do with the land? Okay, if I'm going to build my borehole, my poly tanks, my gutters, how am I going to run the gutter? How are you going to run the gutter when everybody's around you? Right? So these are things that we get into when we are having these discussions. And sometimes people will bring us a plot, like a demarcated land, and they say, Tony, these are the plot. And I say, okay, go for XYZ, XYZ. Go find out if it's open, because from here, you can do this, you can do that, this. But if you're here, you kind of limited. You're really limited. So um, you have to think about a lot of things. You really have to think about a lot of things. Okay. All right. Wow. How has gone? Okay. Uh, let's get 1 or 2 questions. But let me give a few shout out. Hajia, thank you, Ma. Thank you for the support always. Steven, good to see you. Salif, appreciate you joining us. Kusia Sante, good, good. Kusia, glad to have you back again. Um, Reggie, thanks for joining. Thank you for I appreciate the support. I appreciate you taking in. I'll tell you this and I'll wrap up. I really, I care about what you think. I care about your success. I want to see you do great things. Because this life, man, I'm going with a blast, and I want you guys to have the same thing or more. And and I appreciate the fact that when people send me emails or write a comment, I can respond to them because the channel is not so big that you lose that. I appreciate that because it matters to me because I know how I started and stuff like that. So it's very important. And I would say this: the people that take time and come here and follow me, they are doers. They're actually doing something, right? And I've said this. You can come and watch and not do anything, that's fine. But the people that come and they ask questions and and it's like they listen in, they take one or two things, and then they go and they execute and they move forward. Man, if there's ever a reward, that is it for me. If you're winning, that's all I want. If you listen to me, win, win. That's it. That's it. To me, that is all this is about for me on YouTube, right? So I'm going to do these things, but at certain point in the future, YouTube also will come to an end because there's other things too I would like to get myself into. But in the meantime, I'm gonna give you my best. Um, we have a couple of years before we get there. I'll give you my best and share with you, and so maximize that, and then take it. If it doesn't make sense, no big deal. Take what you want. You can reach me, and I'm learning a lot. I read a lot about this building stuff, from other places, not just in Africa, just to make sure that the information I'm giving to you is sound, because I don't want to give you a misinformation that's going to hurt you. No. So, and if I say something that is, wrong, I'll come and correct it on previous videos. So go win, go win, and believe in yourself. 2020 is the year of maximum progress. Maximum progress. Listen, man, I'm honing. I'm so focused right now. I'm trying to have the greatest growth in terms of my project, personal growth. From year to December, I'm pushing myself. So I want all you guys to be like that, because listen, at certain point, I want to open this club that's exclusive for people. You can't get in if you got to earn your way in. All right, and it's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a place that we can share story, have fun, have the best wines, get together, share stories, look at life, knowing that we've also made our marks, right? So let's go win. Other than that, thank you. Have a great weekend. Keep your dream alive. Go get a code, please. Go get a code and start working on these projects, right? We can help you, right? We know what we're doing. I can promise you quality ethics. Quality and ethics, that's the way I'm gonna do it. Other than that, I want. Okay? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, Ima. Thank you. Um, let's make it, man. Let's make it. Because we have fun. I just can't put on YouTube. We really, really have. We live. Trust me, I live so well when I go to Ghana. I don't even want anybody's life. Those things are not coming on YouTube because some people will get distracted. But at a certain point, they have to come. Not now. But let's all get there and we can have some awesome time in Ghana, and we can have a great time. Okay. So Ajia, thank you. All right. Let's win. Go win. I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. Let me know. You can send me an email, at Royal Consulting Solutions at gmail.com. The phone number is also on the website. and then and then get you going, and so go in and man, and then live this life the best, man, the best. Okay, all right, thanks. All right.